How's it going, folks? Welcome back to Dave's Garage, and today we've got something exotic in the house for once. But first, a little bit of backstory. In the early 80s, a Lamborghini dealer by the name of Max Bobnar had tried to convince Lamborghini management to produce a turbocharged version of the Countach, since turbos were all the rage at that time. Unfortunately, they didn't do this, so he sought to create one himself. With the help of a hired engineer, experienced in placing turbos on exotic cars already, they twin-turboed a Lamborghini Countach, making it an absolute one-of-a-kind. Little is known about this car, though it still exists today in a private collection. It is estimated to have had around about 700 horsepower. After selling the first one, Bobnar decided to build a second one, which was claimed to have around 748 horsepower, using the newer and larger Lamborghini Countach engine at that time in the LP5000. This one also still exists today in a private collection. Those are the only two cars that Bobnar ever built. Today's customer has brought us this beautiful Countach in great condition that is ripe for upgrading, so let's hop in the garage and start working on our own version of the Bobnar twin-turbo Lamborghini Countach. Alright, so we've got twin turbos purchased for this car, but first we need to rebuild the motor. So in order to prep this for forced induction, we're going to go with all forged internals. While we've got the heads off, completely rebuild those, port them out, bigger valves, newer springs, etc. Since the turbos are quite large, we really need to cool that air. So we'll put in the largest intercooler system we can squeeze in there. Upgrade the carburetor for the massive amount of air that's going to be coming in. And if you're going to upgrade the carb, you need to upgrade the spark. So all new ignition system, and due to the car's age, emissions is not a factor at all. So we'll go with some super nice exhaust. And before we bolt it all back together, we'll go ahead and upgrade the flywheel and the clutch. Now, though it is mid-engine, this car does have a very small drive shaft, so why not upgrade it as well to a nice lightweight aluminum one. Saves 8 pounds. Now, some would say these classic Countach wheels are quite iconic. Why would you replace them? Well, because the customer said so. These nice rotiform DIAs actually mimic the design philosophy of the classic wheel with the 5 holes. It'll be liked by some and disliked by others. I think it's quite nice. Now we're doing more than just making the car look pretty and go fast. We need to be able to slow down. So we're going to upgrade the brakes to much larger modern brakes, but more importantly, add in ABS. This car is driven on the street, so why not have an extra safety feature? Since this car will be used on track, we're going to upgrade the suspension. Stiffen the chassis a little. I'm sure we've all seen Top Gear and we know what Jeremy Clarkson says about the air conditioning system in this car. It's essentially like having a small Italian man sitting next to you, lightly breathing upon your cheek. So why not rip all that junk out of there? Take out as much of the unnecessary weight. We'll need much nicer modern tires. And we can even upgrade the width of these tires slightly. 10 millimeters in the front from 225s to 235s, and the big fat 345s in the back can actually be squeezed up to 355s. And there we have it, folks. We end up increasing by 205 horsepower and 166 pound-feet of torque, dropping 194 pounds and shifting a little over 2% of the weight towards the front. Now, while these horsepower figures aren't quite up to what the Bobnar claims were, those were just claims and never actually proven. Some might say it's kind of hard to believe that in the 80s they were able to get up to those numbers, 700, 748. What we do know is that this car is not a psychotic beast and is actually quite drivable and very fun. So without further ado, let's get out onto the track and see how she performs.